Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us and taking time out of your Wednesday to attend this educational presentation, where today I want to share with you the rules to my most consistent strategy. Now, this method has only 4 rules, and I'm actually going to give you half of them today. So welcome to this educational presentation. My name is Stephen Primo. I'm the president and founder of Specialist Trading. I give these free educational webinars each and every Wednesday with a different method or technique that I share with you and teach you in part how to actually trade them and a lot of our trading philosophy behind that. I've been trading now for 47 years, going on 48 years, starting just in a couple of months. I'm going to do something a little bit different today. Usually I go into a little bit more, have more of an introduction, but let's just jump right into it. I want to share with you what strategy we're talking about. And this is strategy number 4. You've heard me mention this before. This is our most consistent method, a method I've been trading now going on 5 decades. I trade each and every day. And I'm going to share with you the first 2 rules of strategy number 4 today. Now, before we begin, let's take a look at our disclaimer. I'm going to show you a lot of performance results using strategy number 4 today, but please remember that we can in no way guarantee that any of the results I'm about to share with you will be repeated in the future. And since this is an educational presentation, and since we are an educational company, all examples are strictly for educational purposes only. All right, let's jump right into it. Let's begin. We're going to be talking about the first 2 rules. These are rules number 1 and number 2 of strategy number 4. They're extremely simple, but you're going to see how powerful they are. And you'll know exactly what to look for when I share with you a number of trade examples that recently happened. And you'll see these 2 rules in action. All right, rule number 1, buy or sell signals can only be entered either above or below the 50-period simple moving average. We call this our buy-sell line because it simply tells us whether we're going to be a buyer or a seller. Let me share with you how simple but how powerful this process is. For example, we're looking at this generic chart right here. The price bars are above the 50-period moving average. So what is the market telling us? Not me, not some earnings report. What is the market telling you? It's telling you the overall trend is up. And if the overall trend is up, you will have a higher level of consistency if you only trade in sync with that overall trend. That's rule number 1. Now, let's say you want to go short. Okay, well, you see here that price is below the 50-period moving average. That's why we call this the buy-sell line, because now that we know price is below, I don't care if some guy in a chat room or some guy on TV says, oh, you've got to buy the market or whatever this stock is or market is. If price is below, you'll only be a seller or look for selling opportunities. Now, this doesn't mean you're going to sell at the market. This just tells you if you get a signal, regardless of what you're trading, regardless of what method or time frame, you will have a higher level of consistency if you only trade in sync with the overall trend. And in that case, the trend is down. So that's rule number 1. That's why we call this our buy-sell line rule, because we automatically know whether we're going to be buying or selling based on where price is in relation to the 50-period moving average. Now, this tells us the overall trend. What about the short-term trend? I know a lot of traders say, oh, well, Steve, so we look at 2 different time frames, right? That's the way you get in sync with the overall and the short term to make sure they're in line. No, that's making things too complicated. And in my opinion, I have never seen much consistency using 2 different time frames to determine the trend. Let me share with you a simpler and more powerful way to determine the short-term trend. This is rule number 2. Buy and sell signal bars must close in the top or bottom 25% of their range. All right, what does that mean? Well, let's say we're above the 50-period moving average, so we're looking for a buy signal, and we see a bar that closes in the top 25% of its range, as we see right here. As this bar is in green, you see it closed in the top 25% of its range. Look what happens immediately after. It continues to go higher. Now, even though it fell for 1 bar, we have another bar following it that closed in the top 25% of its range, the top quarter. And look what happened. So a lot of traders say, well, Steve, yeah, but I could have shorted here and made some good, quick money. Well, yes, but you would have had to been very quick and get out because just 5 or 6 bars later, it's making new highs. And this is why most traders fail. They stay in too long and they say, well, it's going much lower or going much higher. And in this case, we see that price is below the 50. And we have a bar here in red that closes in the bottom quarter of its range. Okay, top to bottom, if you close in that bottom quarter, and you are below the 50, the market is telling you, not me, the actual market you're trading, regardless of time frame, is saying, I want to go lower. Okay, so you see how you have the odds in your favor by simply applying these first two rules. And you can apply these rules to any strategy. Doesn't matter if it's one of mine, could be one of yours or someone else's. I firmly believe that it will increase your odds for consistency if you just apply these two rules. Now, once again, they make up the initial rules to strategy number 4. I can't give away all the rules, the remaining two, because it wouldn't be fair to our students around the world who have purchased or are students of mine in strategy number 4. But I can share with you some examples and show you how powerful it is. And remember, strategy number 4 signals are auto-generated on the platform I developed with proprietary strategies, the PTS Primo charting platform. It auto-generates these strategy number 4 signals for you. So let's look at some recent strategy number 4 examples. And remember, we teach you in the course exactly what to look for. But once you know what to look for, well, then it's perfectly okay to use our platform to identify these setups because you know what they're based on. So let's check out buys first, okay? All right, let's look at a chart here. This is a chart in Netflix going back about a month or so. It doesn't look like much is happening, kind of drifting sideways to lower. And we kind of feel that we do see something. So we want to check our work. It's as simple as clicking on strategy number 4 on the platform. And then the drop-down menu will appear. Just click on signal arrow. And if you think you've seen a signal, you just want to see if it's confirmed, well, this is how you do it. And yes, you're right. There is a buy signal right here. Now, we've taken out the 50-period moving average to make the charts have a nicer size and display. But remember, all that is taken into account into the auto-generated signals. And as you can see, we close in the top 25%. So we're obviously above the 50-period moving average. And look what happened. The stock went up 42 points in the next couple of weeks, just based off strategy number 4. No news, no economic conditions being announced, no overbought, oversold, no Elliott wave, just based off these 4 rules that are based off of a pattern. All right, let's look at this example in workday here. Not really much to tell here. It looks like we're in a range going lower, going higher. But if we click on strategy number 4, click on signal arrows, we see that there actually was a signal right here. We close in the top 25%. Now, remember, a lot of students will say, well, Steve, why wasn't this a signal? We close in the top 25%. Well, yes, remember, you have to meet the remaining 2 rules. The remaining requirements must be satisfied. And apparently, they weren't in this bar, but in this one, they were. So you could have purchased here and in the next couple of weeks, seen a 42-point gain in the stock, just based off of this pattern that we teach you how to identify. Let's take a look at Meta. Now, obviously, we're in a downtrend, right? We're making lower highs, lower lows. But are we really in a downtrend? And we're not showing you the 50-period moving average, but obviously, we are above the 50-period moving average. Why? Because a buy signal was generated. Remember, we can only generate buy signals if we are above the 50-period moving average. So even though it appears we're going lower, this is actually a buying opportunity because the overall trend is still up. And we see that this bar right here closed in the top 25% of its range. So that's a valid strategy for a buy signal. And then we got another one. So there we have 2 in a row. So if you missed the first one, you could have taken advantage of the second one. And the stock jumped up 62 points coming into October last month. Here's another example, this one in Charter. Now, a lot of our traders who are new students of ours say, well, Steve, I was always taught to trade with support and resistance. This is where the big money is. And I always tell them, listen, you're always free to trade with whatever you want. But if you want to take my advice as a mentor, I've never found any type of consistency using support and resistance. It's just too subjective. One trader may see support and another trader may see the exact same place resistance. So what also happens when you're looking at things like this is you say to yourself, well, I will buy once we break out of that resistance. But then look what happens. You don't want to buy this high up, right? This is maybe where you're thinking of selling it. So then a trader says, well, okay, I'll wait for it to pull back, maybe fill in part of this gap before it goes higher. Okay, so you wait and it never goes down. So you missed it entirely. Why? Because you relied on resistance, okay? A lot easier if you simply apply strategy number 4. Click on strategy 4, and you would have seen well before we broke out that a buy signal was generated using strategy number 4, and you could have taken advantage of this, not relying on support and resistance, and take advantage of a 65-point gain in just about 5 days, 1 trading week, okay? See how simple this is? Here's another example in Costco. This is a weekly chart of Costco. Now, what a lot of traders like to always do is say, gosh, looking back in hindsight, I would have loved to have bought this, but how did I know? Who knew that this was going to go higher? Well, if you applied strategy 4, you would have seen that we were above the 50-period moving average. So all it did was generate buy signals. And look at all these signals you could have taken advantage of. Had you taken the very first one, which is going back over a year, remember, this is a weekly chart, and it still held on, you would have over a 400-point gain. So it's up to you. Traders always love to, say, gosh, they love to pout and to be the victim and say, I missed it. But once you know the simple 2 rules I just shared with you, you would have known that on a weekly time frame, Costco was in an overall uptrend. All right, let's look at a 1-hour chart of the euro yen, because this doesn't just apply to stocks. You can also apply it to currency pairs, crypto, E-mini futures. That's where I like to trade off of. Or it doesn't matter what time frame. This is an hourly time frame where a buy signal was generated. And look what happened. The euro yen went straight up after that. Now, here's one thing I want to share with you, and I'll go into this later on in the presentation, but here's an exit point that a lot of our students may have taken for a quick 185-point gain, or 85 pip gain, I should say. Now, this happened in just about a day or so. That's roughly close to $1,900 per unit. But here's the most important thing I want to share with you. Had you used this exit level, guess what? You would have avoided that big drop in the euro yen in the next hour. So this is the beauty. This is what we will also teach you in the course, how to apply this certain exit level. Okay, we looked at buys. Let's look at some sell examples. Well, all we do is just reverse the rules and tip them over. Now we're looking for price bars that are below the 50-period moving average and close in the bottom 25% of their range. Those are the first 2 rules for sells. All right, here's an example in Micron. We can see here MU is going straight up. It's a strong uptrend, right? So many students that have not taken my courses will say, hey, Steve, you got to buy this. This is going up. This is a strong uptrend. But remember, we determine an uptrend by where price is in relation to the 50-period moving average. So it's already pre-formatted in the signal. So all we have to do is click on the signals. Now, in this next bar, we had a downward bar, but we're still going higher. Click on strategy 4, signal arrows, and that was actually a sell signal. So obviously, we are below the 50-period moving average. And as you can see, we closed in the bottom 25% of the range. So where most people are saying, well, Steve, it's still going higher. This is just a 1-day sell-off. It's going to continue. Not really. It fell 20 points in the next couple of weeks. Here's an example in FANG, F-A-N-G. Once again, classic uptrend, right? Higher highs, higher lows. But if we click on strategy 4, click on signal arrows, nope, it's a sell signal right here. This means we are below the 50-period moving average. And as you can see, we closed in the bottom 25%. So this is telling us it wants to go lower on both the overall trend and the short-term trend. No need to overcomplicate things by looking at 2 different time frames or different markets. It's all right there in the price in front of you. And look what happened, 27 points. Now, a lot of our students don't like to go short. They feel uncomfortable. They feel like it's just too negative to sell short. That's fine. You can use this as a selling tool to exit a long position. So let's say you were long FANG. Well, if you used this, you would have avoided a 27-point loss. Here's another example of support and resistance. Once again, this is why I don't believe in support and resistance, because it's just too difficult to trade with. For example, you could say that there was major support here. That's why it's holding up, and you're not going to sell till it closes below that, okay? Well, if you clicked on strategy 4, well in advance of that, you would have had 2 sell signals, okay? So you wouldn't have had to wait for it to close below that so-called support. And then look what happened. For the next week, nothing really happened except on this day. Now, let's say you're not lucky enough to come home from work, or let's say you're long the stock and you say, okay, it's broken support, so I'm going to call up my broker, or I'm going to go online and generate a sell signal tomorrow. This is why we don't apply support and resistance, because look what happened, okay? You would have sold near the lows of that day on the opening. And if you use strategy 4, you could have gotten out a lot higher up here, well before it fell out of bed. So this is the beauty of strategy 4. When you base your methodology off of the market, off of market behavior, as opposed to off of so-called support resistance or economic news or earnings or what some guy is saying on TV, you have a higher level of consistency. And you could have potentially captured 52 points if you were short, or at least avoided a loss of 52 points potentially. All right, here's a weekly chart of DLTR, all right, going up, right? Now, let's say you're long, and you say to yourself, wow, this is going pretty well, and this is an actual buy signal using strategy number 4. So I say, hey, okay, so Steve says this is the right thing to do. So you go long, and then this happens, okay? Now, using one of our standard stop losses, which we teach you in the course, most likely you would have lost on this trade and lost about 10 points, okay? Now, someone would say, but Steve, I thought you said this thing never loses. It's consistent. Consistency doesn't mean that every trade is a winner. It means that it has a 2 steps forward, 1 step back approach, meaning that you will have losses from time to time. But when it steps back, oftentimes it recoups those losses in the next setup. So you would lick your wounds and say, okay, I lost 10 points on this. Maybe you had 100 shares and you lost $1,000. Okay. What most traders do at this point is they say, I don't want to trade this anymore. I'm scared to take the trade. I might have another loss. But look what happened. On that bar, a sell signal was generated. So you have to get back in the game because you could have potentially captured back that 10-point loss and then some because it went down 65 points. This was a weekly chart. Let's look at a daily chart here of ASML. Another sell signal was generated towards the top of this little small rise. 175 points coming into a couple of months ago, okay? All right, so let's review what we shared with you today. Strategy number 4 highlights. Strategy number 4 is a pattern recognition strategy. It's based on a pattern that repeats itself over and over again in virtually any market. Doesn't matter what time frame, what market. Could be crypto, could be stocks, the way I showed you, currency pairs. It could be futures, could be ETFs. It makes no difference. It could be monthly charts. If you're an investor, you'll still see this pattern occur over and over again. Now, originally, this was designed for traders looking to catch momentum. And the beauty of strategy number 4, oftentimes it will generate signals before the momentum kicks in. So you'll be in the trade before anyone else sees that it started to head off in a certain direction, like you saw before those so-called support and resistance trades, okay? Now, it only uses one indicator. And guess what? You already know what that is. It's the 50-period moving average. The rest of the 3 rules are based off patterns. That's it. Now, we teach you exactly what the pattern to look for is in the course. So this is not a black box system. This is not something where you have no idea what it's based off of. No, you know all of the rules going in. The reason why we created the platform was to make it simple for you, was to be able to check your work so that, I can't sit next to you 24/7 and say, yes, you did it right. That's a valid strategy 4 signal. So we created the platform as an educational tool to check to see if you're properly identifying these strategy number 4 setups. Now, excuse me, ask yourself, do you think my most consistent strategy can help your trading for the remainder of 2024? I mean, think about it. We only have about a month and a half left in 2024. If you've had a difficult year, even if you've had a horrendous year, I really believe strategy number 4, which is something I trade every day, can help you get back on track and help you start out 2025 in the right direction. Here's how to take advantage of this great offer we have. We have a special attendee discount for all of you taking time out of your Wednesday to see this special educational presentation. We're going to offer you our most consistent strategy number 4, along with detailed instruction, instant course access. You can be up and running as early as today. You'll learn all of the entries, all of the exits, and all the stop placement. You'll get the automatic buy and sell arrows and the complete course rules. Remember, you can apply to any market in any time frame. Now, the reason why you'll get the automatic buy and sell arrows is because we're also going to throw in 6 months of the PTS Primo charting platform absolutely free. So everything you saw today was displayed by applying the PTS Primo charting platform that I developed, proprietary strategies, and just simply clicking on strategy number 4. Now, that's going to be all yours for 6 months. With one click, you'll be able to see the signals. You'll be able to scan for them. But there's so much more included on the PTS Primo charting platform, things that you won't find on any other platform because they're mainly things I've taken from my 47 years of trading and that accumulated while I was on the trading floor. You won't find them on the other platforms as well. Things like our enhanced buy sell line feature. That tells you the overall trend, but we have 4 different ways to tell you how to determine what the overall trend is. You'll also get a signal scanner. You can scan for strategy number 4 signals intraday or on a nightly basis. So if you're not able to be in front of your chart all day long, you can come home, scan to see what the next day's setups are, okay? You'll also get a strength of trend tool. This tool automatically tells you if there is more movement left in the up or down trend or if it's running out of steam. You'll also get over 90 of the most prominent technical indicators along with personalized tech support. And remember, this is just the tip of the iceberg. There's just literally dozens more techniques and methods that I just don't have time to go into that you will get that will be yours free of charge for the next 6 months. But let me share with you what I told you I was going to talk about. I think one of the highlights of the platform are our auto-generated exit levels, okay? With one click, you'll be able to see these exit levels. And this is just one of the techniques for exiting we share with you. We have upwards of 6 or so different ways to exit the strategy number 7 setups, but strategy number 4 setups. But this is just a great way to auto find out where these exit levels are. For example, let's take a look at this chart in ILMN. All right, here's a strategy number 4 buy signal. Now, let's say before you even take the signal, you say to yourself, well, I want to take this, but I'm not sure where it can go or where it may get out, and I'm not sure about my money management. Here's a great way to determine that. Once again, just click on Strategy 4 in the drop-down menu. Instead of clicking on Signal Arrow, because you already know where the signal is, click on Range Extension Exits. And this is a great way to find out where the exit levels are. And you'll see it automatically displays 3, sometimes 4 levels for it. Now, if you wanted to get out at the first level, that means you're the type of trader that likes to trade, get in and out quickly, take your quick profits and get out. If you're more of a swing trader, you would use exit level number 2. And if you're trying to get the most bang for your buck, you would get exit level number 3. Let's say you, for all intents and purposes, for the next 3 or 4 examples I'm going to share with you, we wanted to get the most bang for our buck and we chose the largest exit level right here, okay? Well, guess what? In just about a week, you could have made a quick 10 points. And someone would say, well, Steve, it's 10 points and it doesn't seem to be going any lower. Why would I want to exit there? Well, oftentimes the exit levels pick the exact high or the exact low areas, okay? If you had not exited there, you would have given most likely all of your profit back. Here's another example. Remember that 1 hour euro yen example I talked about earlier? Well, you could have clicked on strategy number 4 on an hourly time frame. It still would have given you the range extension exits. And let's say, once again, you thought it was going up to the 3rd and highest level. Well, there, you made a quick 18.5, or I should say $1,850 potentially off of just trading 1 unit. And look what happened after that. You would have missed the big downward sell-off in the next hour, okay? This is the beauty of seeing these auto-displayed on the platform, and they're going to be yours free of charge for the next 6 months. Here's another example in LIN, L-I-N. 2 buy signals are generated. This example actually had 4 levels. If you had taken the 4th and final level, well, you would have exited with a nice 28-point gain. Now, a lot of our students say, but yeah, Steve, I'll get out and it still goes up for a couple of days. Yes, but look what happened after that. You would have given back the majority of your profits had you stayed in for another 4 or 5 more days. Now, this works to the downside as well. CDNS, as we see here, 2 sell signals. Click on strategy 4, the same process. Click on range extensions. And we have 3 exit levels. If you wanted to get in and out quickly, you'd cover right here. If you were more of a swing trader, you'd cover here. And if you wanted to get this and squeeze out as much profit as possible, it was providing you with the 3rd and final limit right here. Let's say you decided to use that one. Look what happened. You exited with a 27-point gain if you went short. And once again, it kind of headed a little bit lower, but look what happened after that. Had you stayed in, you would have given back all of your profit. Same with the 4-hour Canadian dollar. We have 3 levels here. If we took the 3rd and lowest level to exit our sell in the Canadian dollar, well, we exited with a 120 pip gain, about $1,200 per unit, but it still went lower. But look what happened after that. You would have given back half of your profits in the next day. And then SNPS, 2 sell signals here. Click on strategy 4, range extension, 3rd and lowest level. Well, we have a 72-point gain in just about a week or two. But it didn't stop. It kept going lower. Had we held on, guess what? We would have given back the majority of our profit in the next week or so. So that's why these levels are so important, and that's why we provide them for you on the platform, the PTS Primo charting platform. You'll only find these auto-generated exit levels on our platform, and they're yours for the next 6 months. Okay, so let's break down this great offer, okay? You're going to get strategy number 4. Now, pay no attention to the stock strategy. When we first started teaching this method years ago, we were obviously applying it just to stocks, but we saw that our students told us it works in any market or any time frame. So don't worry if it says stocks there in the graphic. Now, this is a $695 value that includes the scanner with the platform. And you'll get the free real-time PTS Primo charting platform. That's nearly $900 6-month value. So normally, if you purchase these two separately, it would cost you close to $1,600. But here's what we're going to do. We're dropping that because we're not charging you anything for the platform. We're only going to charge you $695 just for the course. You're going to get an actual savings of nearly $900, or that's close to a 60% savings, okay? This is a great, great offer for less than $700 to trade a method and to learn how to use it by someone who's been using it for nearly 5 decades. So I'll be there with you every step of the way. Invest in yourself for the first time. Instead of investing in someone else's ideas or what someone else is saying, take charge of your trading and take it to the next level with strategy number 4. I was trading with it this morning. I had, here's a perfect example of what we mean by consistency. My first 2 trades were losses, but guess what? My next 3 trades were winners. So I made back those losses and then some. That's what we mean by consistency. Now, obviously, I'm trading a small intraday time frame, but you can apply it to daily bars, weekly, monthly, any market, any time frame. Okay, here's how to take advantage of this great offer. Contact my sister site, Pro Trader Strategies. They're in charge of all the discounts, of all the pricing. They're also in charge of all the tech support for the platform. So they can answer any question you have about platform and data in different markets. I would just recommend giving them a call. There's absolutely no obligation, but if you gave them a call at 310-598-6677, they would be happy to take your order over the phone or to talk about anything that you might have of interest that you may want to know before you decide to become a student of mine. Now, the link you see at the very bottom is the link that will take you to the info page. It's not a live link, but they've posted a live link on the chat. I believe it's the chat box. So all you have to do is click on that little chat icon and you'll see a live link posted there, okay? Now, I promised I would answer any and all your questions. If you do have some, just go to the chat box or to the question and answer box, and I promise I will answer them to the best of my ability. Someone's asking, I have not been trading that long. What if I have questions? If you have questions, you can always email me. All of my students get my private email address. So if you have questions or if you don't feel you're understanding the process or if it's a little bit too difficult for you, don't worry. It's extremely simple, really. Most of our students say, wow, I didn't know it was this simple. It really is simple. As you saw in the first 2 rules, how simple they were. But even if you're having difficulty, all you have to do is email me. You can email me snapshots of setups that you're interested in seeing it just to check your work. And I will be there to answer it via email. And you can email me on the weekend, before the opening, after the close, during market hours. It makes absolutely no difference, okay? So it's the next best thing, as I always say, to having me stand there right next to you. Is this a video or is this a live class? No, this is a recorded video that is yours to keep. That is not something that disintegrates in 6 months and you have to return it or so. No, it's yours forever. And also, you're my student. As long as I'm trading, as long as I'm kicking and breathing, you can always ask me questions, even if it's 5 years down the road. Once you get any of our methods, such as strategy number 4, you can always contact me, and even if it's just up for a little refresher, and I can answer questions you have. But no, the video course you get is going to be yours for keeps. Now, remember, the platform comes with that for 6 months. Someone's asking, what is the price after 6 months? Well, that's the beauty of Pro Trader Strategies. They're very easy to work with. They're easy to negotiate. So they'll easily put together a deal for you if you want to continue and if you're interested in purchasing something else. So that's probably something to be negotiated after 6 months. You don't have to most likely pay the full price. So this is a great way, once again, to start out 2025 in the right direction. So take advantage of this. I mean, trust me, I trade with this every day, and I have been for the last 47 years. And so it really has sustained my trading. I'm not going to promise you that every trade's a winner, but like I said, it's extremely consistent. And consistency means that it's able to recoup a lot of those losses by the same way that I just said this morning, when I had a couple of initial losses and I made them back and then some. So that's the beauty of strategy number 4, my favorite method, and hopefully I can transfer that on to you in the course, okay? All right, if there are no further questions, I just want to also state that if you want more information or more education on a daily basis, please feel free to follow us on Twitter. Or X, however you like to call it. There's our handle. Copy that down, at SPCLSTTRADG. Every day I post about 5 or 6 different snapshots of strategy signals, like strategy 4, that have generated signals, or other little bits of financial wisdom and education. Now, also, we are broadcasting this live on YouTube. It's streaming now live. So if you'd like to see more of these streaming broadcasts and presentations on YouTube, click on the subscribe button, and we'll have them all out there for you. Lots of ways to stay in contact with us, okay? Okay, as we close now, I just want to say thank you so much for attending. As we take one last look at our disclaimer, remember, strategy number 4 is a great, great method. I apply it each and every day, and I really think from the bottom of my heart, it can help your trading. Okay, so contact Pro Trader Strategies. They can set you up, or they can answer any question that you may have, okay? Thank you so much for attending today. I wish you all the best of luck, and I look forward to seeing you in the strategy number 4 course. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.